Alright, so in this video I'm going to go over the slope-intercept form, and it tells us right here that the form for that is y equals mx plus b. Alright, so the first thing to go over is what m, what y is, what x is, what b is. So this y, the y and the x are at any given point. So we have a table here of all these different points. And as you can see, we're only going to really need two of them. So we have several different sets of points. We have a -7 and -3/2. That's 1 point, and I labeled that point 1. And then point 2 is -5 and -1. Okay, so we know what the y and the x are for. So m is the slope. Alright, and so another way to think of the slope is the rise over the run, or the change in the y over the change in the x. How will the y increase or decrease, and then how much will the x increase or decrease? Alright, so this delta y and delta x, this delta means change in, and this change in means that you get the final value, so the y final value, minus the y initial value. So we're going to do the y for point 2 minus y for point 1 over x for point 2 minus x for point 1. So we see here that for point 2 the y value is -1, and so we're going to do -1 minus -3/2, because that's the y value at point 1. And the same thing for the x values, we get -5 minus -7. Alright, so we've simplified that a little bit, and we get 1/2 over 2, because we're adding -1 plus 1.5, and so that just is 0.5 or 1/2, and then -5 minus -7 is -5 plus 7, so that's 2. So 1/2 times 1/2, or 1/2 divided by 2, is 1/4. So we get our m value of 1/4. That means y will increase in 1 and x will increase in 4. So we're going to have a generally not a steep slope. Alright, so for the b value you're going to have to do a little algebra. So we set it up over here. Now the b is the y-intercept, and that means when x is 0, the y value is going to be b. So another way you can think of this is that if you get a line over here, then when x equals 0, at what point does the line or the curve cross the y-axis? So this is your b right here. Alright, so I just grabbed point 2 and we have the -5 and -1. So this is our x and this is our y. And we have our slope, m equals 1/4. So we write the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and then we plug in all the values that we have. So we have the y value, we have the m value, we have the x value. So we plug in y equals -1, and then m is 1/4, and then x is -5. Alright, so we have everything we need to solve for one variable. Alright, so we're gonna combine these terms, and we're gonna get b all by itself. So the first step is to combine 1/4 and -5. So 1/4 times -5 is -5/4. So we have -1 equals -5/4 plus b. And we're going to add -5/4 to both sides. And then we're going to get 5/4 minus 4/4. And I just converted this 1 to 4/4, so we can be able to subtract these fractions easier. So 5 minus 4 is 1. So we get 1/4 equals b. Alright, so going back over here, we have y equals 1/4 x plus b. So the slope, m plus b. Alright, and we got that right, so let's move on. Alright, so this next question is very similar to the first one. So I went through and started already. So we have m equals, and then we're going to do the change in y over the change in x. So we're going to have point 1 and point 2 right here. So we're going to have negative 2 minus negative 6, which is going to be 4. And then we're going to have negative 6 minus negative 9, which is negative 6 plus 9, which is 3. So we have a slope of 4 over 3. Alright, so we're going to plug this slope into the y-intercept form, or into the slope-intercept form, and we're going to plug in point 2 to find the b value, to find the y-intercept. So we have negative 2 equals 4/3 times negative 6, and then plus b. Alright, so we're going to combine like terms and get b all by itself. So we can see that this simplifies right here. So this 3, this will become negative 2, because we're going to divide these by 3. This goes away, and then negative 6 divided by 3 is negative 2. Alright, and then 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and then we're going to add 8 to both sides to get rid of the negative 8 over here. And so negative 8 plus, alright, so negative 8, we're going to add 8. So 8 minus 2, or negative 2 plus 8, is going to be 6. And that's going to be our y-intercept. Okay, so let's plug that in. The y-intercept of the b is 6, and then the slope is 4 divided by 3. Alright, so next question. Alright, so the next question here is similar, except we're only given 2 points, so we don't have to pick. So let's say we have point 1 and we have point 2. Alright, so we're going to find the slope first. So the slope is the change in y over the change in x. Alright, so that's going to be equal to, alright, so the final point, or point 2, of the y value, so 4 minus, so we're going to do 4 minus 6, 4 minus 6, and that equals negative 2. And then we're going to do the delta x, or the change in x, and so that's 2 minus negative 1. So 2 minus negative 1 is plus 1. Right, so 2 plus 1 is 3, and we have our slope of negative 2 over 3. Alright, now we're going to plug in to one of these points. Let's plug it into point 1 this time. Alright, so we have our y value of 6, so y equals mx plus b, so 6 equals, and then negative 2, we'll plug in the m value for negative 2/3, and then we'll plug in our x value for point 1, which is negative 1, and then plus b. Alright, so we're going to combine the terms. Negative 2 times negative 1 is going to be 2, and so that's 2/3. Oh. So 2/3 plus b. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to subtract 2/3 from both sides to get b. So we're going to have b equals, and then 6 minus 2/3. So we're gonna make this 6 into a fraction. That's going to be equal to 6, but the denominator is going to be 3. So if we have 6 over 1, and we're going to convert this to a denominator of 3, that means we're going to multiply the denominator by 3 and the numerator by 3. So we're going to have 18 over 3, and then we're going to subtract 2/3. And that equals 16 over 3. Alright, so next question. Alright, so the equation of the line passes through 7, 3 and 8, 2. Alright, so 7, 3, and 8, 2 in the form y equals mx plus b. What is the equation of the line? Alright, so this is pretty easy. This one we actually have a line here, so we don't even have to do the math. I'll show you a quick little trick. So let's start with the b value. So when x equals 0, what does y equal? That's going to be the y-intercept. So if we go up here, we see that when x is 0, y is going to be equal to 10. So we know that the y-intercept is 10. And then we can take a look, and what is the change in y and the change in x? Okay, so we see that for every time y goes down 1, x is going to increase by 1. So we have a slope of -1 over 1. So the change in y is -1, and the change in x is 1. And so that's just going to be -1. Alright. So next question here, going back to the pattern of the first few. Alright, so let's start with these two right here. Okay, so it looks like all the y values are -3. So if we put a graph, if we made this into a graph, then all of the y values would be -3. And it's not going to have any slope, because there is no change in y. It's 0. 0 over x, which is 0. Alright, so there is no slope, which means m equals 0. Alright, and for the y-intercept, there is no y-intercept. But what we're doing here, since there's no slope, we're just going to have y equals -3. Because it doesn't matter where you are, what x value you have, all across the domain here is going to be -3. So y equals -3. Alright, so hopefully this video helped you out. If you have any questions, just let me know.